Once again, this is Pastor J.D. Hatfield of the Riverside Christian Fellowship in Hernando, Florida. As always, you can find us on the web at voiceofvision.org. And today I want to talk to you about answering the big lie. Hebrews 13:15 says, "Through him let us continually offer up a sacrifice of praise to God, that is, the fruit of lips that acknowledge his name." And I'm going to show you how this text helps you to answer the big lie in your life. What's the big lie? The big lie is that you will find true happiness and fulfillment by violating God's will. Practically speaking, believing the big lie means that you look to find satisfaction in sin. And you need to find a practical answer to it. Not just a theological answer, but an in-the-moment of temptation answer. Now it's true, you might find momentary happiness and partial fulfillment in violating God's will. Sin might seem to work for you in the short run. Sin can be enjoyable, fun, like a relief. But its pleasures are fleeting. They don't last for too long before sin comes calling again, and you'll just keep chasing the wind. You'll never be done with sin by continuing to do it. You'll always need to come to the altar of the big lie to make a sacrifice of sin. So, if you're going to stop that certain type of sin, you're going to have to answer the big lie in your moments of temptation. And I'm going to show you how to answer it. What you need to do is learn to sacrifice those fleeting moments on the altar of praise to God. Now you might hear that and say, I can agree with that, but how exactly do I do that? What does that really mean, practically speaking? What exactly do I do in those very moments when it feels like sinful pleasure is what I need to relieve my stressful pleasure? Well, I'm going to be perfectly practical with you. I will be very specific as to what to do in order to battle the big lie when it rears its ugly head. And it's a very simple thing. You can easily remember it. But you'll have to keep reminding yourself to do it until you get used to doing it as a holy habit. When you start doing it, it might seem like hard work because you're just not used to doing it. And it may seem entirely unnatural for you to do it. The enemy of your soul will tell you it won't work. It might feel useless or even hypocritical. It might seem like a great sacrifice. You might not want to do it, but that's why you need to do it. Something good, godly, and different in your battle with in-the-moment sin. And what I'm talking about is things I've referenced before in other videos, and the New Testament speaks often of. It's that implementing that put off one thing by putting on another thing. That's the paradigm the New Testament speaks about. That's how you change. And it works beautifully. Now, it may seem like it won't really work, and you might think you're already doing what I'm going to mention. In some ways, I hope you are. But you probably aren't doing it in the way that I'm going to describe it. So let's really get down to it. What do you do in those moments of temptation? For example, in those moments when you feel anger and you're tempted to act it out, to say something bad, to do something bad. Well, you do something different. What I'm saying is that in that very moment, when temptation rears its ugly head, when the big lie makes it look so satisfying, that sin is what you've got to do, what you do instead is sing. I'm talking about singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, making melody in your heart and with your lips to God. Here it is again. When you feel like sinning, start singing in that very moment. And your first thought might be, this doesn't feel natural. Especially for some men that I know, and myself, it seems like, and you forget to do it, and you got to remember to do it, and it just seems so, again, almost like hypocritical. But that's just proof that you need to do something different for a change. And our text in Hebrews 13:15 bears witness to this. Hebrews 13:15 that we read earlier tells you that as Christians, our sacrifices are not the bloody sacrifices with all the exacting details of the Old Covenant, but the sacrifice of praise. So let's break this text down simply and then build you up. The text says, through him let us offer up praise to God. Your praise to God is to be offered through Jesus Christ on the ground of his righteousness. That's why it'll work. The text says, let us continually offer up praise to God. Your praise to God is to be offered continually, consistently. It's got to be a constant practice. The text says, let us offer up a sacrifice of praise to God. Your praise to God may be costly or inconvenient. It may not feel right, but you give up something else, namely some sin, in order to praise God instead. There it is. You give the sacrifice of praise instead of indulging the satisfaction of sin. The text says that our praise is the fruit of lips that acknowledge his name. Your praise to God is more than just thoughts. It is spoken or sung. Winners are singers. Music and singing have an incredible, indelible, unforgettable impact on you. Let me prove it to you. If I started going, you know the next words, don't you? We will, right? You need to have some ready-to-go weapons in your arsenal to answer the big lie when it comes calling. After the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, they sang a song that we still sing today. I will sing unto the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously, the horse and the rider thrown into the sea. Think about it. How many times do you have a song in your head? I can't get that song out of my head, right? How many of us sing in our cars, or in the shower, or when we're all alone? We turn on certain music when we want to feel a certain way. Your life proves the truth. And what you need to do is answer the big lie by taking that truth and applying it to the altar of God, to give the sacrifice of praise instead of indulging the satisfaction of sin. It works. When it's not working in my life, it's because I'm not actually doing it. It can't just be theoretical, it has to be practical, and it works. The big lie comes at you practically saying, you have to do this. This is what is going to make you feel better. And when you start singing, it may not seem like it's going to feel better. It's the sacrifice of praise. But you learn through it. When you feel like sinning, start singing. Well, there you have it. I know that this lesson will be a big help to you if you use it. Until next time, we'll see you here, there, or in the air. God bless you.